Greetings, everyone. My name is Baba Anthony, and I am the Awo with Okamaso de Temple here in Miami, Florida. Today, we gather to explore a topic that touches on the very essence of our existence, spirituality. In a world that feels chaotic, nurturing our spiritual lives allows us to anchor ourselves, find purpose, and deepen our connection with the divine, our community, and our innermost selves. This journey isn't about perfection, but it is about intentional growth, right? Today's conversation, we're going to be thinking about setting meaningful goals, creating sacred routines for ourselves, building connections, and cultivating gratitude. As we move through the conversation today, I'm going to be sharing verses of Ifa that will help support the conversation that we're having today, right? And hopefully this will lead us to a path of balance, fulfillment, and inner harmony. Together, let's reflect, renew, and realign ourselves with what truly matters. And today's topic, again, is soulful intentions, embracing spiritual self-care. I'm going to take you through 4 areas that I think are absolutely key to this spiritual self-care. Area number 1 is define your intentions. Define your intentions. Let's go to the Odu of Osa Iwori. Osa Iwori. Ashe. Osa explains. Ashe. Osa examines. Iwori also examines. Whatever we examine together, it is bound to be good. This was the Ifa cast for Imoran, deliberation, who shall precede Edu, Ifa. Imoran, I have deliberated before consulting the Ikin, Ifa. Ashe. So, thinking about this particular verse, as an Awo Ifa, when I make connections with folks, one of the things that I experienced often is folks coming with no preparation or no idea about what they are coming to divine for, what they're trying to accomplish, what they're trying to do for themselves. The same way we kind of set up our practice. I think an important part of our practice is to understand, why do we practice? What is it we're trying to do for ourselves? And how can we move towards improvement? With this area of define your intentions, an Odu of Osawori explains that deliberation is something that is key for our success as individuals, for our success as a community, for our success as religious practitioners, as family members, as friends. Deliberation is key in everything that we do, right? I like to tell people, what is your plan? If you're coming to seek divination about a business and you haven't even decided what that business is, what it is you're going to do, what are going to be your areas of struggle, like you haven't thought about any of that stuff, you're kind of just grasping at stars. And this is the same way that our spirituality works, right? We've come into this spirituality, many of us, and some of us expect great changes without deciding, where we're going to go. Ifa is wonderful because it provides us with so much guidance. It gives us our life reading, our life Odu, if we're initiates to Ifa. If we're part of Itadogun for the temple, we have guidance every 17 days that we can choose to follow, right? We have all of these different ways of moving about and getting information. So then we need to deliberate on it, right? We need to deliberate on it, and we need to understand which way we're going to go in order to find success in our lives. And once we've found that point, once we feel like we've deliberated enough, then let us go and seek the advice of Ifa. right? So, how do we deliberate on our spirituality? Well, one, I like to think that we need to reflect on what spirituality means to us as individuals, right? I know what it means for me, but I don't know what it means for my children or for my wife or for any other practitioners. So that's something that we have to understand. What does spirituality mean to us? Next, we need to find the areas where our spirituality feels disconnected and depleted, right? What are we missing in our lives? How can we find spiritual improvement if we don't even know what we're missing? So that's something that we have to deliberate on. The next step we need to do for ourselves is to set meaningful goals for our spiritual growth for this upcoming year, right? We just started the new year. We're in the first month of the year. It's over halfway done. My question to you is, have you set your spiritual goals for this year? Because I know that it can become difficult if we're just sort of going and we don't know what we want to improve on, and we don't know what we want to accomplish. So it's important for each one of us as practitioners of Ifan Orisha to have spiritual goals. Maybe it's to learn a verse. Maybe it's to learn the process of morning prayers. Maybe it's to learn Oshe Ifa. Whatever it may be, right? You need to define these spiritual goals for yourself so that you can see improvement in your life, right? So that's number one. Again, define your intentions. Number two, my number two topic is create a sacred routine. Now, if you've watched any of my previous temple services, you'll hear me mention Oshe Ifa over and over again. I mention that a lot because that's a very beautiful sacred routine. But it doesn't have to be Oshe Ifa if we're not there yet. It can be morning prayers, right? It can be just simply reciting the prayer for water, which we've shared within our temple. And with our temple members, those who've had questions, we've shared the prayers for water. So maybe it's just that, right? Find your sacred routine and stick to it. So let's go to the Odu of Orangum Meiji. Hepa Odu. Whenever we say Orangum Meiji, we say Hepa Odu, great Odu. Orangum Meiji, also known as Ofun Meiji. So let's look at this verse. Orangum Meiji. He who wakes up quietly to occupy the world. He who walks gently to be accorded prestige. He who wakes up early in the morning in search of elements of prosperity to heaven. They were the Awo who cast Ifa for Orunmila when coming from heaven to earth. They also cast Ifa for the human race, who were divided into three groups: the achievers, those who follow the achievers, the bystanders. They were all coming to do three things. They were coming to do good. They were coming to do evil. They were coming to do neither good nor evil. Ase moga moga ki riohun oro si arigbi bonlo, the Awo of Agbani Regun. He cast Ifa for Agbani Regun when going to Olodumare to make inquiries about why Olodumare created three groups with three distinct characters at the same time. Three groups exhibiting different traits cannot live together without friction. With friction, one is bound to be hurt. So let's dig into this verse just a little bit. All right? Three groups of people. When I start to think about the purpose of creating a sacred routine, right? I look to the first three lines of this particular verse and think about what is my routine for and what is it going to look like, right? Am I going to be the person who wakes up to occupy the world? I just don't want to be that person. I just don't want to walk around as if I have no direction. I have nowhere to go. I don't want to be the occupier, right? Am I going to be the one who is gently accorded prestige? right? Oh, I do a little bit of something and then I'm noticed for it and then I disappear again. I also don't want to be that person either, right? So obviously that leaves me to become number three or work towards number three. He who wakes up early in the morning in search of elements of prosperity to heaven. Let us think about that one for a moment, right? I love that line. He who wakes up early in the morning in search of elements of prosperity to heaven. We have so much more to live for than our material things. We have so much to accomplish. We have so much to pray for, right? So I want my sacred routine to look like this. If I can get up in the morning, I'm going to do my morning prayers. I'm going to start my day off appropriately so that I have done what I can do for my inner self, for my spirituality, right? I'm waking up. I'm gonna try to knock out my prayers. If it's Oshe Ifa, I'm gonna try to knock out Oshe Ifa. If it's Oshe Obatala day one, I'm gonna try to knock out Oshe Obatala because I'm initiated to Obatala. Right? These are my sacred routines that I'm going to work on for myself. And so the question is for you all, what is going to be your sacred routine? Right? What is going to be your sacred routine for your spirituality? Are you going to be an achiever? Are you going to be following an achiever? Or are you going to be a bystander with your own spirituality? Right? Which one are you going to do? Does your spirituality tell you that you're coming to this world to do good, or you're coming to do evil? There are some people that are part of the spirituality completely thinking that they want to harm others all the time or protect themselves. They're going to fight against each other. There are people that do it, right? But I beg of you, do not become the person who has come to do neither good nor evil. Consider that. Don't be that person who just lets life pass them by. Take charge of your spirituality. Take charge of your sacred process, because that is where you're going to see growth in your life, little by little. Right? So define what that means to you, understand what it is you're working for, and then put a plan in place. Now, my third one, which is the most important one and one of the main reasons behind me wanting to start Okama Sode Temple here in Miami, Florida. I wanted to create a community, a place where we as Ifa practitioners can come together as like-minded people, a place where our families can come together as people of spirituality. Like we see the Jewish folks coming together every week. We see the Christians coming together every week. Why not Ifa people? That's my question for us all. Why not Ifa people? So let's go to a couple verses and see what Ifa says about community. Let's start with the Odu of Irete Alaje. Irete Alaje is the nickname for the Odu of Irete Oshe. That's Irete on the right and Oshe on the left. Irete Alaje. That's the way that we refer to it, so as not to, I guess what do you say, create challenges in our life. This is one of those very delicate Odus. So we always, whenever you see that Odu come up, refer to it as Irete Alaje. So, Irete Alaje. One person makes one to become acquainted with another person. People will introduce one person to another person. Those who know many people, let them not say that they do not have any more money. It does not take huge amounts of money to get to know many people. These were the declarations for the inhabitants of Irete Alaje, where they were suffering from lack of financial success. They were advised to offer ebo. They complied. There is no group that is as successful as the inhabitants of Irete Alaje. Come and see how money is flowing like water. Now let's go to the next Odu, Ogbe Obara, and then I will bring them back together. Ogbe Obara. Ogbe Obara. What did you ask that I failed to comply with? Which road did you ask me to take that I refused to take? This was the forecast for them in AO Town when they were deriding one another when they woke up. They were deriding each other. They were advised to offer a boat. They complied. Before long, not too far, join us in the midst of joy. Come and perceive all array of life. So thinking about those two verses, I want us to hear the truth. Ifa declares that nothing, and I mean nothing, that love, cooperation, and the spirit of togetherness cannot achieve, right? When we stand ready to lift one another up, to lend a hand, to encourage a dream, we unlock the doors to possibilities greater than we could ever imagine. Like, let us think about that, right? Let us think about that. Where this Odu is revealed, cooperation brings blessings, right? Whether it's Rete Alaje or Ogbe Obara, it's the cooperation of the people that brings about the goodness in their lives, right? It brings about the blessings. It brings about the success. The more we move together in unity, the greater our chances are to rise, to prosper, and to shine as a community. And here is the promise from Ifa. When we can come together as a community, there will be joy. And not just any type of joy, a deep, soul-satisfying joy. There will be self-fulfillment, a sense of purpose, and a marvelous, wonderful flow that will keep us moving in the right direction. But in order to get there, we have to come together as a community first, right? That's what we have to understand. Ifa is not a spirituality of a single person. It is not a spirituality of, I have my house of folks here and I have my house of folks there. No. Ifa is about community, a community supporting each other to help lift each other up, a community supporting each other to help raise our kids, a community to support each other so that when one block of that community falls down, we're all there to support that person to bring them back up, right? Ifa is telling us this. I only chose 2 verses today that speak about community. We don't want to be the community like in Ogbebara that is deriding each other. We don't want to be a community that's speaking negatively about other Ifa and Orisha practitioners. Why? Our goal should be to support each other as much as we can, right? That's what Ifa is saying. And then Ifa says in the Rete Alaje is that as we support each other, as our community grows, our wealth will grow, our spiritual wealth will grow, right? Imagine if we as good Ifa people supported people, business owners, who are Ifa worshipers too, just like the Jewish folks support their fellow Jewish business owners, or Christians support their fellow Christian business owners, or the people of Islam supporting their Muslim business owners, right? Think about that. That's what we need as people of Ifa and Orisha. And that's what Ifa is telling us right there. So let us consider that, right? Let us walk in love. Let us join hands in cooperation, and let us stand in faith, knowing that where unity reigns, miracles will be sure to flow. Ashe. Right? Let's say that one more time. So let us walk in love. Let us join hands in cooperation, and let us stand in faith, knowing that where unity reigns, that where unity reigns, miracles are sure to follow. Let us get an ashe. So I hope y'all are hearing this message, especially in the area of community. I can't say that enough. Now, number 4, our last area that I want to focus on. I want us to focus on the idea and concept of practicing gratitude. This is a foundation of what we should be doing as Ifa and Orisha people. Showing gratitude for everyone who does the smallest things for us, right? The smallest things. Now, if you know our morning prayer, you might have heard this verse before, so I'll share it again here. It's from the Odu of Otura Irete. Gratitude upon gratitude begets gratitude upon gratitude. Favor upon favor begets favor upon favor. Whoever fails to show gratitude for a favor done for him yesterday, that person will not receive the favor of today. These were Ifa's declarations to the 401 Iramole when going to marry Okwe. Gratitude, the child of Orisha Buruji Obatala. They were advised to offer a bow. The same was also declared to Orumila when going to marry the child of Orisha Buruji. He was advised to offer a bow. Only Orumila complied with that advice. I express my gratitude and I receive my gifts. I express my gratitude for the favor done to me yesterday, and I receive the gifts of today. Otura Irete, I am very grateful. Now, as Ifa and Orisha people, hopefully we've heard of the term Omoluabi, right? I just want to tell you a little bit about the heart of the person who has reached the stage of Omoluabi. I'm not there yet. There's a lot of qualifications and a lot of hard work behind it. I want to be there, but we all have a lot of work to do before we can really truly say we're in that place, right? And Omoluabi is someone who knows the power of appreciation, right? Someone who understands the beauty of saying thank you. And Omoluabi honors kind gestures and carries a spirit of gratitude towards those who show them love, mercy, and generosity. I want you to listen closely for a moment. Gratitude is not just a polite word. It is truly a sacred act, right? Every one of us is called to give thanks to Olodumare, the creator of all. We're all called to do that. We're called to honor our Ori, the divine essence that is within each and every one of us. We must give thanks to Ifa through our prayers, right? We give thanks to Ifa for the wisdom that guides us, and to the Iramoli and the Orisha, the forces that walk with us. And let us not forget, we also are called to be grateful to our brothers and sisters in Ifa and Orisha, those who bless us with their kindness and their care. Right? Let's think about that for a moment. I want us to realize that the really good news is that when we show gratitude, we open up the floodgates of blessings in our lives. And let us not do it for blessings, right? Let's not secretly be someone who is saying something else or thinking something else and not being fully thankful. Let's not put ourselves in that position, right? We want to make room for even greater blessings no matter what. Gratitude multiplies the goodness of Olodumare. And we learn that through our verses of Ifa, right? It brings about abundance in our lives, not always monetary abundance, but it brings about a spiritual abundance that's within our lives. So let's not be shy about saying thank you. Let's not be shy about bringing other people in and showing our gratitude towards them, right? As they may say in church, lift our voices and our hearts in praise, for gratitude is the key to unlocking the fullness of life. That's straight out of church right there, right? That's straight out of church. Gratitude is the key for unlocking the fullness of life. And I say straight out of church, but that's just Ifa. That's all it is. It's Ifa. People want to try to give us church, but we have church. We have church within Ifa. I hope everyone understands that very clearly. Now, as I bring everything back together, right, as I conclude this conversation today, I want us to remember that spirituality is not a destination, but it is a journey for each and every one of us. Right? It is a practice of aligning our intentions, our actions, and our heart with a higher purpose. If we can focus on deliberate reflection, sacred routines, connecting together as a community, and gratitude, I am positive that we can create lives filled with meaning, love, and abundance. I'm positive we can do that. The teachings of Ifa remind us that cooperation and gratitude will change our lives. Let us think about this upcoming week as we walk our path as Ifa devotees. Let's walk this path with a purpose. Let's carry forward the wisdom of Ifa in our lives daily. Let's understand that Oromila is here to guide us. Let's understand the Orisha are here to walk with us. Let us understand that Olodumare wants us to be in a good place always, right? He wants us to live a prosperous and successful lives. And with that, I'll end with this. May the light of our intentions guide us. The strength of our community uplift us, and the gratitude in our hearts multiply the blessings in our lives. Thank you for listening to today's message. I hope you all have a blessed week. Just a few announcements. A couple of months back, there was a calling for a study group, which I believe we're trying to meet here with Okamaranso de Temple. We have a study group that meets on Wednesdays. I share information. If folks are able to make it, we can have a dialogue back and forth. It allows us to have communication with each other, through this medium, through being online, usually a Zoom call. And we can reach out and connect with people all over the world. So I humbly suggest you consider joining us for one of those sessions, because it's always good, again, to just connect as a Ifa community, no matter where you are. And that's done through Patreon. That link is posted on our Facebook page, and all monies from that Patreon are to support the temple, right? And that's so that we can bring in Chief Popola. We had Chief Popola here just last November. We brought Oluwefa Kolade, my teacher from Idin Ka Temple. We brought him from California, and they were here for a week in November. And for me, that was a great opportunity to learn. And I would love to have others participate in that process. But in order to do some of these things, we need financial support. So consider joining our Patreon. It is $16 a month. So we hope that you consider that. So that's the temple place. And along with that, we do have a Q&A chat, which allows us to, again, ask some questions throughout the week to, hopefully get some answers and thoughts from others who are willing to share. So with that, I hope you have a blessed week. Thank you again for joining me for this conversations today. I hope you all are well. Odabo.